Also, too, we have binding sites in the body. And a lot of these binding sites, how many have ever seen a patient with an obvious thyroid thing, but you can't get iodine to prove on them? The reason you can't get it to prove on them is because they bound another form of iodine to the binding sites that isn't supposed to be there. It's another iodide, but it's not the one the body can use. The only way to get them the one the body can use is to knock the bad one off of there. And the only way you can do that is when you have a complex of appropriate, naturally absorbable information. We can call all these minerals information because that's in reality what they are. They're all a different frequency. They're all a different information code for the body to be able to do this with it. You can't go from any one of those guys to the next guy without an individual mineral in the mix. It just won't happen. You can't do it. You cannot defy the design of this body by figuring, oh, I'll do it this way. Oh, I'll do it that way. No, you can't do it. You've got to find the most basic stuff, the most basic food that you can give the body, because we're not getting it out of the ground. It's not in the ground. People don't care about growing vegetables other than how big they can make them. That's all they care about. If they can make you a big potato, when you go to the store to buy, what do? You buy a small one for the wife, you buy a big one for dad, right? The deal of it is there ain't any food in it unless you're going to a really good health food store. But this is the kind of stuff that John got from the hotel. So if you're eating here at the hotel, you're eating dead food. Sorry, Hilton. Sorry, but you're eating dead food because it has no what in it? It has no minerals in it. Okay, cofactors. Cofactors are connectors for metabolic chemical reactions. Cofactors are non-protein compounds bound to proteins. Cofactors are required for protein biological activity. So what are we saying now? We're saying you can't use a protein if you don't have a mineral to do it, because there's just no way to do it. You could go on a Atkins diet, eat lots of protein. But if you don't have any minerals, what are you going to do with it? It's going to go one in and one out. That's what's going to happen to it. So what we're looking at here is fat metabolism. Cofactors for fat metabolism. You can't go from linolenic acid to gamma-linoleic acid unless you have magnesium and zinc. You can't go to dihomogamma-linoleic acid unless you have magnesium. You can't get down here to PGE1, which is basically an anti-inflammatory. You can't get there without magnesium. And if you overdo magnesium, what's it going to do? It's going to take you to the restroom every 5 minutes, because you need all the rest of these guys to do it. This is a prostaglandin. PGE2 is an inflammatory. This is an anti-inflammatory. So what do you need to give your patients to anti-inflame them? You need to make sure that they've got every mineral. So what we're saying is you need the minerals for anti-inflammation. You need the minerals to be able to handle and utilize proteins. You need them to be able to utilize fats. You getting the picture that you have to have minerals? And you just can't go and take a mineral. You've got to take all the minerals. You've got to take all of them. I went and introduced myself to the other fellow that's speaking at the same time, and he has a lot of history in metals and toxicity and so forth and so on. And I went up and I said, "Hi, I'm Toby Watkinson." I said, I'm sorry I'm not going to be at your lecture this morning because I'm lecturing at the same time. He said, "What are you lecturing on?" I said, "I'm lecturing on minerals." So he said, "Oh wow, that's fascinating." He said, I'm into that." So he said, "What are you doing with them?" I said, "Well, come on down the booth and let me show you what we've done." He said, "Holy cow," he said, "you are so right on with what you've got. You are so right on." He said, "I'm totally right there with you." So in any event, I'm going to get his film, see what he has to say. I hope he gets mine to see what I have to say. But so here's some more fat metabolism again. You can't make it. You can't get through any of this. Okay? More cofactors on that guy. Did you see how many minerals there were in this orange? 0. There weren't any minerals in there. How many minerals were there in this grapefruit? None. It couldn't conduct. It couldn't carry an electrical charge. None. So how many fruitarians do we know? What are they doing? They're starving out their minerals. How many people put people on a vegetable juice fast? It's a good idea, sort of, except what's happening is that none of the other systems are getting an opportunity to work because they don't have the fuel to do it. Acidity and alkalinity. The pH of the body fluid is critical for life. We heard the doctor from NutriWest the other day say, what did he say, 7.34. If you go to one above, one below, you're dead. That's how critical pH is. This is a beautiful slide. This is a slide that is so neat because what it tells you is something about what we've created here is that we have created an acid mineral and we've created an alkaline mineral. And what is important about this is how many people would alkalinize themselves with magnesium or bicarb or this, that, or the rest. How many people might acidify themselves with calamo. The deal of it is that when we made these, we used some technology to take the base minerals and divide them between the acid and the alkaline. No, we didn't take the alkaline ones and leave them out of the acid ones. We didn't take the acid ones and leave them out of the alkaline ones. They're still in there because otherwise the body won't be able to figure out what it's doing. We're only 1 pH apart between our acid mineral and our alkaline mineral. Well, that's pretty silly. I thought we were supposed to drink 9.5 pH water. Well, yeah, that would be a nice idea, but what are we going to do with it? It's the same thing as the other. I have this little thing called the lemon cure. You can go on YouTube and look at it. And that is that someone said that ascorbic acid would actually, they did a scientific study, and they said that ascorbic acid would actually shorten a cold. And I thought, that's interesting. Ascorbic acid is the antioxidant protector of the vitamin C complex. It's like saying the wheel is the car. That makes no sense at all. I could go home and drive my wheel. No, I need my car. I need all the other parts of my car to be able to have a car. How can I say ascorbic acid? Ascorbic acid was invented with some guy with a long Middle European name that I can't pronounce. But in any event, what he did was he invented ascorbic acid, which took over vitamin C. Vitamin C is not ascorbic acid. The most important part of vitamin C is basically a metal that is the most important part. Tyrosinase is the most important part. It's a copper enzyme. Most important part of vitamin C. Ascorbic acid doesn't have it. You can't fix scurvy with ascorbic acid. Now, so I said to myself, how in the world can you fix a cold and shorten a cold by taking something that's not really vitamin C? And then they can stand up and say, hey, this has worked for that. The reason it works is because bacteria need a constant pH in which to replicate. So if you take the juice of a teaspoon of lemon juice every half an hour for 2 hours away from food and water, what do you get? You get acid, body goes alkaline. Acid, alkaline, acid, alkaline. What's the bug doing? Holy cow, I can't reproduce. This thing is ever changing. So consequently, for 35 years, I've been telling my sick patients, allergy, do a lemon, do a lemon, do a lemon. Every half an hour for 2 hours, teaspoon of lemon juice. And if you feel a cold coming on, every half an hour for 2 hours away from food and water, do some lemon. My patients are like, oh, wow, yeah, I got the lemon cure to do it. It is the most amazing fix because what it's doing is it's bouncing you back between those two things. So the concept here with what we're doing is manganese and iron are acid. You can see them all the way up there at the top. They're acid guys. Where what's happening down here with potassium is it's really more of an alkaline guy. But they're still in the acid ones that we're doing. They're still in the alkaline ones that we're doing because you still need them in a complex. Because you've got a narrow pH in where you need to live anyway. And so if you're going to blast out to both ends or one end or the other end, you're not consistent with what nature and what your design was. So here's what do we do with acid alkaline? Autonomic nervous system, electrolytes, digestion, blood pH, enzyme activity. Let's talk about autonomic nervous system. When I said that when I test a patient from head to foot, what I find is there is no electronics functioning there. We do a heart rate variability on every one of my patients as well, and I have sympathetic, parasympathetic deficiencies and balancers. in my Zyto stuff, and we're working on creating a library in which you guys can download to do all the pH stuff, to do the mineral stuff, to take a look at sympathetic, parasympathetic, and also take a look at some of the stuff that we're doing with electronics. And that's going to be available as well. I just need to get with Zyto and get everything carved out so it's appropriate for you, so that you can have it, so that you can track the use of this with patients. Okay? And but what I find is every single last one of my patients has an autonomic nervous system problem. They've got excess sympathetic, depressed parasympathetic. What's that create for you? No digestion, no detoxification, and upregulated TH3, which means their immune system is turned off, and downregulated TH1, which means they can't fight any kind of bug whatsoever. And so anything that's going to downregulate TH1, unless you are in the middle of some sort of a autoimmune storm, you don't want to downregulate TH1. You want to downregulate TH3. So, in any event. Nutritional aspects of minerals. Minerals are critical for proper body function. Organ systems have specific mineral requirements. Enzymes require mineral activators and cofactors. So, arsenic's bad. Kill rats with arsenic. But yet the body, it's an essential trace element, and it depresses growth and impairs reproduction. But you only need it in that way in which it's naturally existing in nature. You don't want to go take some arsenic. Oh, you got an arsenic deficiency, John. Let's give you some arsenic. What do you think?
Okay.
Yeah. So boron, this is everything, and you will have these slides. So you'll have everything up here that boron is doing. Now there's a lot more than what these guys are doing. I've taken the big hits on these guys to kind of make it simple for you. But the bottom line, the point that I want to make on minerals is that they're all important. They're all important for everything. And the only way to get it is to get it in a well-planned formulation. And this well-planning was nature's well-planning. We just happen to be stewards of it. We have one here called foundational minerals. It's the one that when I have a patient come in and we're figuring out what's going on, I say, take this, come back in 3 weeks. It's inexpensive. This foundation kit for you guys to buy it, $15. Okay? You can sell it for whatever you want to sell it. You know, most people double the price of it, but some people triple the price of it. Some people don't mark it up at all, but that's what it goes for. If you order, we have, this is the commercial time, I guess. We have some order forms here. If you buy any of these cute little kits, what you get with it is you will get also another little half-ounce bottle of a mineral formulation that you can do creative things with your Zyto at their first visit, and you can send them home with their program so that then you're shipping stuff to them, and by the time they get their stuff shipped to them, they will be out of this. But I give them away for free. You can buy them. We'll give you 3 of those for every one of these you buy, and then if you like them and you want to use them in your practice, we'll sell you a box of 12 of them for like $2.40 some a piece. So that makes it like $29 for a box of 12. And it's, my patients have been so excited. They said, "Wow, oh wow, this is my treatment program," and I go, "Uh-huh." And they come back to, "I love that little bottle. That was so cool." And the best part about it is I didn't have to pay for it. Now, if you think you can't afford it and your visit is $2.50, make it $2.50, $2.41. You get your $2.41. I'm sorry, I'm just joking with you.